So starting the test drive here in the RAV4 TRD off-road, love having the all-wheel drive system first and foremost. It makes the four-cylinder seem just a little less sluggish. And I wish we had a V6 option for this vehicle, because I just feel like the four-cylinder doesn't do it justice. It allows you to get better fuel economy, but other than that, it's lacking, in my opinion. It's enough for most people in the segment. Obviously, that's why it's one of the best-selling small SUVs, but for someone like myself, I don't want something that necessarily drives like, and nothing against Subaru, but just having that naturally aspirated four-cylinder, I want a V6, I want a Turbo 4 in this. Something just a bit quicker for those of us that just want acceleration and don't necessarily need 35 miles per gallon. But in sport mode, it does liven up quite a bit. And I don't know if you can hear that, but the license plate holder in the back is flapping around a little bit. But other than that, no out of ordinary sounds. But I have the safety sense engaged all the way, so we have the lane centering on, the adaptive cruise on, and we're gonna put it back into normal mode. But overall, it drives pretty well. Ride quality, I feel like it's a lot better than the older body style. The steering feels less flimsy to me, and it does feel a bit more powerful. I think the drive modes have been fooled with a little bit, so that makes it a bit better on the road. But I mean, it's still the same old RAV4, and for those who love the older ones, shouldn't have any issues with this one. I know my partner had what was it? She had like an 18 RAV4 Limited, and she said this bothered her because we had her in a 19 or a 20. I think it was an XSE hybrid, and she took it back because that would have been ragged out because we got it from Carvana, but also she didn't like this here just being in the way of your legs. I feel like when you had that older shifter and the drive modes were up here, not down here, you had a little bit more room to spread your legs out. Now, I think this is a good option. I think it's a great option for people who like to go do light camping, just kind of want to feel rugged, but they're not necessarily, you know, up in the mountains with four-wheel drive and all that, because this is a capable vehicle. It's just not, you know, it's not an off-road monster in that sense. I think if you want something like that, go with the Tundra, go with the Tacoma. But for people who tend to drive RAV4s, again, this is a great option for those people who just want something that can handle off-road a little bit. It's not necessarily fast, but again, it's capable in certain situations. And it's also practical when you're not trying to go off-road with it. And that's one of the few things that I think allows this to differentiate from the competition, is you get an off-road oriented vehicle, but if you want to drive it to and from work, the ride's comfortable, the fuel economy's great, and then you have all the tech that you would expect, having blind spot monitors, radar cruise control, lane centering. So you get the best of both worlds. And then I believe you have a little bit of towing capacity with this. I wouldn't necessarily trailer anything, but you could put your bikes on a rack, or you do have those crossbars up top, so you can put some luggage up there. So again, a pretty practical option from the standpoint of the buyer that Toyota's trying to come for with this vehicle. And I'd be interested to see a turbo setup in this. It does suffer fuel economy, and again, I feel like the RAV4 buyers are looking at this vehicle because they like the 8-speed automatic, they like the naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. That's basically the reason the Camry's still around, is it's such a good car and it has such a track record of being reliable. I think that's why it took so long for Toyota to put the twin turbo V6s in the Tundra, because what they had was, it had a record of being just a fantastic vehicle, and it would last you a long time. And that's what people in this segment, specifically Toyota buyers, that's what keeps them coming back to Toyota. They got 300,000 miles in their last car, and they're trying to get another 300,000 out of their next car. And obviously these can go longer than that, but I mean, all in all, I think it's a great vehicle. These are still holding their value quite a bit, as Toyotas tend to do when everything else is dropping off. So it's certainly not cheap, but again, if you want something that is off-road oriented, gets the job done, it can be a daily driver, and it's just easy, simple, makes sense, definitely make sure you take a look at this 2022 Toyota RAV4 TRD off-road.